Hello lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a little bit of a different video for you. I am going to be unboxing the curriculum that I've chosen to use to homeschool my 4-year-old. And if you're new around here, I have been homeschooling my daughter, Bethany, who is now 4 years old, for about a year, give or take. I started right after having a newborn. We kind of had done a few things like late in the fall to kick off the school year, and I felt very unprepared. And I didn't know what curriculum I wanted to use. Not only that, we did not have the budget at all to purchase a curriculum. And I really was intrigued by the idea of the good and the beautiful. I did a lot of research on it, and then I ended up deciding not to go with that one only recently. And there's a few things I'll get into as to why I didn't choose that curriculum, and I'll explain why I ended up going with the one that I chose. So today we're going to be unboxing. I just got my package from Gather Round Homeschool. They're a company based in Canada, and their curriculum is amazing, you guys. It is the best one that I have found for this age. Now, I'm not obviously going to be reviewing it for older ages because I only have a 4-year-old, but I'm going to be reviewing they're technically what is considered their pre-K 3 and pre-K 4. So let's go ahead and open it. I'm going to be reviewing it as I see it. And then we'll do an in-depth review later after we have used this for a little bit, and I'm so excited. This came here today. The shipping was rather quick. I think I ordered it like last Friday or something like that. I'll check the dates of when I had ordered it and put them on screen right here. So shipping was really fast. I was pleasantly surprised it came quicker than they said it would. And there is the option on their website to actually print everything, like print the manual for the teachers and then the kids' workbooks as well. And I opted to get everything. I don't know how much we'll go through the first, how do we open this? I don't know how much we'll go through the very first year because she already knows a little bit and has a basis for it. Let me get this open and I'll be right back. So to me, it seemed like pre-K 3 was geared for like kids that are pre-writing stage, and she's already tracing her letters and she's finally into that. She definitely was not into it very much when she was 3, and I can see like why this would have been so helpful to have had when she didn't want to do any tracing, because it teaches the kids the skills that they need to know to write. But I'll get into that in a minute. So let's see, we have a packing slip. The entire thing I paid total, including shipping, was $255.80. This is the full year bundle, letters and numbers, printed full year bundle for 1 student. So, and it's signed, quality control checked, so that is cool. Let's see, what do we have? We have a little card and it says, what if you could teach all your kids together? And that is the idea of their homeschool curriculum, because as your kids get older, you basically use one manual and you read from it, and then kids go do their individual assignments, which I thought was cool. So there's this packet and it has a cute little fox and like mama fox, baby fox. This is the letter, what is this? The teacher's guide for letters and numbers 1. So there's volume 1, which is technically pre-K 3. And then there's letters and numbers 1, student book A, which is technically like the first semester, and then student book B. Let's open the teacher's one first. And I'll give you guys a little flip through so you can kind of see what is in here. I opted to get it printed because it was a lot cheaper, like if you wanted to print it yourself, but then you have to pay for printing, and you know, normally your paper's not going to be as good. So I just decided to do it this way because I wanted to, like, you know, not have so much paper, because this is printed 2 sides. And if I printed it myself, I would probably just do 1 side. So this is a teacher's guide, letters and numbers 1, which I'm excited about. I'm excited to have a teacher's guide because I honestly could use the help. And what I also liked about this is that it includes all of the subjects. Like it has Bible, it has letters, it has numbers, it has early concepts that are easy to understand for kids of science, and it also includes some art stuff. And it's really simple and easy. Letter and Numbers 3 Teacher's Guide. So this and this together makes up Pre-K 3. And then this one, Letters and Numbers 3 and Letters and Numbers 4 makes up Pre-K 4. So, but you don't have to use it like that. It does equal out to be, this equals out to be a full year of school, and this equals out to be a full year of school. Bethany is in some, like from what I looked at, they have some really cool downloadable PDF files on their website that are free, which allows you to go through like the very first lesson and I think the very last lesson in both the teacher's manual and the children's workbook, because I was like, I want to see what's in it. I want to read it. I want to see, like, get a feel for it without having to purchase the whole thing. And I was pleasantly surprised, and that honestly was what like sold me on it. I could see, you know, what it had. Let me go through all of the books first, and then I will show you individual pages and stuff. This is the student pack. You get 12 books total that are all bound with like spiral bound, which is nice because then you can like flip the book back and it doesn't have like that binding that gets in the way. Okay, this is interesting. I didn't realize that this was like this, but I actually really like this. The binding for the kids' workbooks is at the top of the book, which is cool because I remember being a kid and hating this binding, like when you're writing, because when you flip the page, if you're right-handed, you flip the page over and it gets in the way of your handwriting and it's just uncomfortable. So student book A, it has a place to put their name on it. And this is again Pre-K 3, Pre-K 3, and then Pre-K 4, right? Student book A and student book A. Okay, now I'm slightly confused by this because there is student book Bs for all of these. Okay, I think it's because for every semester there's actually 2 books for the kid and 1 manual for the parent. And that's everything that's in the box, by the way. There is nothing else in here. It's just the books. So 12 books total. They're beautiful, you guys. Like, I love art and I love things that are beautiful, which is what drew me to the good and the beautiful again. But I was so happy to find that these are also very aesthetically pleasing. They're interesting, they're colorful. And if you didn't know, I was homeschooled all the way through, and my favorite books for learning when I was a child, because I went, you know, pre-K all the way through 12th grade, and my favorite books for learning were the ones that had beautiful illustrations. There was color on the pages, and I remember one time my mom was trying to help me learn math, and she had held me back a grade in 3rd grade because I wasn't understanding it. I'm a very artistic person. Math is not my thing, and I was struggling because she started me a little early in school, and she was like, well, I can afford to like hold her back a little bit. So we held back 1 year, and we had an extracurricular, or not an extracurricular, she got a different math book, and it was Saxon math instead of Abeka math, because I was an Abeka kid, had Abeka all the way through. I loved it for certain things, and I probably will use it for some grades, like once we get a little bit more further along, depending on how it goes with Gather Round and as my kids grow, and you know, I'm free to change my mind on what I want to use for curriculum. But she did Saxon math, and I despised it because it was all black and white. So if that gives you a sight into my life, I love color, can you tell? But I also love neutrals. So back to the topic though. So student book, what the heck was I talking about? Oh, the illustrations, they're beautiful. So the inside of the book, this is Letters and Numbers 1. It has a table of contents, okay, and it goes all the way through lesson 52, which is right here. Let me see if it'll focus for you. Student book A goes from week 1 all the way through week 7, okay? And student book B, for the same like number of book 1, goes all the way through, it's lesson 29, or week 8 through week 13. So that's how it works. And depending on how many days you do school, you'll get through this more quickly or more slowly, but it's technically supposed to be a full year. I think I've reiterated that several times. So that is that. Letters and Numbers Book 1 is all about in the forest. For Letters and Numbers 2, Student Book A is on the farm. It's all about farm stuff. For Letters and Numbers 3, getting into Pre-K 4, we have In the Jungle. So all about in the jungle. And the last one is In the Air, Student Book A and Student Book B and the Teacher's Guide. All are about in the air. Okay, so let me show you first the first grouping, which is Letters and Numbers 1 versus Letters and Numbers 2. The lady who wrote it is Rebecca Spooner. She has a little bit of an introduction in there, and then we have, and it's printed on both sides. So this is the very first page. Is on the back of the introduction. You have letter A, uppercase, lowercase, and you have these two right here, and it says, today we're going to get to know our first letter friend, letter A. We have both an uppercase big and a lowercase small. Let's match the uppercase and lowercase to their partners. So they would then draw on that. And I think, oh yeah, so there is an appendix in the teacher's guide. You can use the letter page from the appendix in the teacher's guide as a visual guide. So that is helpful, especially as your kids get older, to have like basically the examples. Okay, this is cool. So in the appendix there is a letters, it says letter friends, and it's like a visual guide that you can show your children and be like, look, uppercase A and lowercase a are friends, and they have like little cutesy little faces on them. That's super cool. I like that, because then they're like, they start to associate, you know, what is the uppercase letter for the lowercase. Then this one has just something you can cut out and do, and it says, it even has in this book, which is actually the kids workbook, it says parent note, not sure what to do. These pages are an opportunity to be as messy, hands-on, and crafty as both you and your child both prefer. Go ahead and use glue and use some construction paper, and it literally gives you all the ideas that you need for this, and it's all contained in here. You know you need very minimal supplies to homeschool your child. So something that I want to see in here is one of the reasons why I purchased this, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, is that it includes other subjects other than just numbers and letters, and you're not going to have to go out and get additional resources for the school year if you don't want to. I really enjoyed the fact reading about how it just includes a lot of different subjects that your kids can learn about and become, you know, just well-rounded in the things that they're learning. Because something that I've noticed about Bethany is she's been asking me more about detailed subjects and wanting to know, how does this work? Why is this like the inside of her ear? She wanted to see a diagram of the inside of her ear. Now she wants to learn about the digestive system. Now I don't know if those subjects are included in this, but I do know that there is some science included. Something in this book that's really cool is that it actually tells you how to use this book. It says what is the Gather Round difference. It gives the explanation about why she chose to do her curriculum the way that she did. It tells you an explanation of how to use the book. So even if you've never been a homeschooler and have no clue about teachers' guides and manuals and everything like that, this gives you a good explanation about what to expect. And it also says, you know, you're going to do this first, then you're going to do this second, then you're going to have, you know, your kids work in their workbooks, or your student or students. Like I said, this is a multiple, you can homeschool your children all at once, basically, is how this goes. And then it says, like, so how long does this take? Then it has a supply list. I'm going to read off to you the supply list because I think that would be helpful if you're considering getting this and you want to order it. You can know ahead of time what other things you're going to need. Pencil, crayons, scissors, stapler, glue stick, and construction paper. I think that's pretty straightforward and really simple and easy to follow along with. It also says there's a few things that you can use for like the art days, is finger paint, ink pads, stamps, glitter, tissue paper, cotton balls, sequins, glitter glue, googly eyes, dot markers, stickers in different forms, circular cereal pieces, meaning Cheerios, paint sticks, watercolor paint, white glue, construction paper, paintbrushes, newspaper or magazines. So there you have it. That's all that you need. And then it goes right into like, is this enough? Is it enough for a full year of school and this and that? And it says basically you're the only one that can determine that, and I very heartily agree with that. But yeah, so back to the video now that I explained that and gave you a little bit more information about how it's set up and how it explains to use the curriculum. So for example, in the teacher's guide right here, it says this week we'll cover, and then it has science right here. You're going to learn about the white-tailed deer and opossum. You'll read about Daniel deer and Octavia opossum. Your child will learn more about the lifestyle and the habits of both of these creatures who are often found living close to where people do. Keep an eye out for deer and opossums in the student book. In the student book, your child will practice matching mother and baby animals. So that's cool because they're going to learn about little animals, and obviously this whole semester is all about animals. Then we have Bible, and it says Psalm 42, 1 through 2. This psalm uses the image of a thirsty deer in desperate need of water as a picture of our deep need for God. Discuss with your child about how the harder times of life show us just how much we truly need God. Just as we wouldn't want to go a day without drinking water, we wouldn't want to go a day without God. Then we have the alphabet. We're going to be learning about letter I. Your child will learn to identify uppercase and lowercase forms of the letter li on these pages, or lie. They will discover the short vowel sound I, or I, sorry. They will discover the short vowel sound I and find words that begin with I. The final alphabet pages of the week is making a mini book containing words beginning with I to add to their mini library. So they're going to be constructing a book. That is really cool. I did not know this included phonetics, and I'm really happy that it does, because that helps and lays the basis for kids to learn to read. And this again is semester 1, so that's really cool. Math number 4, your child will learn to identify the number 4 and associate 4 with a concept of counting exactly 4 items. So early concepts of math and being precise with it. And then fine motor skills, pre-writing, and scissor skills. So your child gets to practice tracing different types of lines connecting deer to the plants they love to eat, and they'll continue to get practice cutting carefully on the dashed line. And then art, messy art and drawing. This week's messy art opportunity invites your child to use dot markers, sequins, or cotton swab paintbrushes to decorate the letter I. Your child will also get to draw a picture to go along with the letter they dictate to you. And then there is life skills, which I didn't even know this was on here. It says here are 2 life skills to practice this week. One is a hands-on skill, the other is a memory topic. If your child already knows these well, feel free to skip. If these are more challenging for your child, feel free to spend more than a week practicing the skills. So the life skills for this particular week is put clothing, a coat, a shirt, etc. on a hanger, and learn your street address. That is super cool. I remember being like a kindergartner and I learned my address when I was a child. It was 1213 Hampton Circle. And I still remember that to this day. I had a whole little song and everything, so I can teach her that. And then there's a planning list right here that you can use to plan the things that you need to do for that week. And then moving into this is still the teacher's guide, which I can show you, I guess, what the student would be doing for that week. They're really easy to find. Like, the number is right at the top here. So it's not like you're flipping through a ton of pages to find it. This is making me so excited to homeschool, you guys. I love it. Okay, so 33. So this is the letter I, big case, uppercase, I, and then this is identifying between the 2. So this is for language arts. This one is language arts plus art. You can tell me a story, and after I write down what you tell me, I'll read it back to you. So you start writing down what they have here. So that's 1 page, 2 pages. Fine motor skills. You're gonna cut out the letter I and decorate it. Pre-writing skills. So this is basically what it was talking about, that you're gonna help the deer get to the food, and so they will learn to manipulate the pencil the right way, and then it has like different shapes and stuff that they go through, so that's cool. 3 work pages, and that seems to be about average for the book. Per lesson, they have about 3 pages of work to do, which is easy stuff, but it's enough to keep them occupied for a little bit. That's basically how the book is laid out. One thing I failed to mention is that the teacher's guide, we went over what the weekly thing was. So for the teacher's guide per lesson, so every day, there is a thing to read about the white-tailed deer. For example, it has a picture of the deer, and you read this, and then you talk about it with your child. You ask them some questions. Then you read the story in the Bible. It says read it to your child, and then it has a little snippet of what you can talk about the deer. It's cool that it goes with the Bible story, you know, learning about the deer and then reading about it in the Bible. I think that's a really great way to add interest to the story, to the lesson. And then this talks more about the deer and the antlers and pointing out different things. And then it tells you the things that you're gonna need. So you have teacher's guide, a white-tailed deer, and Psalm 42, 1 through 2. So you can check these things off as you do them. It's like a checklist. Page 1, page 2, and page 3 for what they're gonna do, which is what I said it had 3 pages in there. And then it says here, we need God like we need water. And then it says, let's talk about it. So then it like does a review about the things that they learned in that lesson. And then like it said at the beginning of the week that they'd be learning about an opossum, this is the same idea. And it reviews the same scripture passage in a different way. This one said, we need God like we need water. When do you feel most thirsty? We get thirsty on hot days. This says we need God like we need water. Again, same passage. And it says when we're really, really thirsty, you realize just how much you need water. So it gives a good review, as I'm seeing, for the kids to really learn something. There's a review, and then there's like a prayer thing at the back for the review of the week. So the way that it's set up, they have it set up by weeks, obviously, and per week they're supposed to do, according to this, if you follow it, there is 1 lesson, 2 lessons, 3 lessons, 4 lessons, and then there's a review. So you could do 4 days of school in a week and then have a review at the end of it, or you could break it up into 5 days of school and have the 5th day be a little bit of a, you know, less heavy on this, and you could do some other things, which, by the way, I found a really good resource called planesandballoons.com. I'll leave all the links down below for all the things, but I think it would be a really, really great resource for you guys, because I found so much stuff for Bethany to do on there in this last week, just like letters and tracing and cutting and pasting and just tons of stuff for preschool. My camera just shut off, but basically that is the overlay of how it works, and I really, really love it. I love how like artistic they are. I love that it is also very well-rounded. I think it's an appropriate name, Gather Round. I think it's very well-rounded, at least for this age. I want to get into a little bit about the reasoning why I chose this over The Good and the Beautiful. And I saw a lot of my friends using that curriculum, and I was really interested in it about a year ago. And I just didn't quite have peace about it, and I didn't know why. And I kept going back and forth, and I was like, but this one is so pretty, you know, and I feel like there's so much more in it, at least for The Good and the Beautiful, like what I had read about it. And I just didn't have peace. And then I came across something, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. And then I like read more into it, and then I made a decision based off of that. So now this, I'm going to do a blanket statement. I have not looked at this particular curriculum, but for me and the values that I have and just the way that I believe, I chose not to go with it, just because I feel like there's a few things in it that are a little bit just not what I wanted. And yeah, so not meant to offend anybody, and if it's what you choose to use, then that's fine. But for my convictions, I didn't feel right using it. This can be very controversial, but I had come across a blog post, explaining why a Christian should not use The Good and the Beautiful. And these are obviously the opinions of, in this blog post, of the person who wrote it, who happens to be the person who created this curriculum in particular. But she created it out of a much greater spectrum rather than just because she wanted to replace the good and the beautiful. She just felt like there was a lot of different things missing. As I pointed out, there's like a lot in this curriculum. There is something to be said as a believer about the kinds of influences that we put in our children's lives. And The Good and the Beautiful was written by a Mormon. Now, I grew up as a missionary, but I didn't grow up as a missionary from the Church of the Latter-day Saints. I grew up as an evangelical Christian missionary, and I went with my parents when I was a child. And learning so much about the different strains of Christianity and then the different other belief systems that there are in the world really opened my eyes to a lot of different things. And I had no idea that The Good and the Beautiful was written by a Mormon. Again, no offense if you are a Mormon or you're a part of the Church of the Latter-day Saints. I don't want to offend anybody who is from that group. And if you choose to use that curriculum, of course, that is your decision. But I'm talking exclusively to Bible-believing Christians who only use the Bible as their reference point. And I think we need to see that there is a spiritual world out there, and there is far greater things going on than just, you know, picking a curriculum based off of, oh, it's cute and it's pretty. Like, there should be a great foundation underneath it, which should be the Word of God. I think there is a little bit of a basis of concern, especially because we live in a spiritual world, you know, that we should just be careful, as we should with everything that our children consume, whether it's a TV show or it is a book that they're reading from the library or the people that are in their lives and influencing them. So I hope that that clears up a little bit. Again, no offense. I truly, my heart cares about you. If you're watching this, I don't intend to offend, but I just wanted to speak what was on my heart and why I chose to not use that other curriculum. If you are in the similar boat and you're kind of debating between the two, I hope that this gives you some information that you can take and reflect on and decide what curriculum would be the best for your family. So anyways, long story short, that's what we're at for homeschooling, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will do an updated review on this curriculum once we've used it for a little while and I kind of get a handle on homeschooling for the first time with the curriculum. I'm really excited to see what this school year holds for Bethany and for Adeline. And yeah, I'm really, to be honest, I'm like, this has completely changed the outlook of homeschooling for me. I feel like someone's holding my hand. Even though I was homeschooled all the way through, I feel like there was a point where I was like, there's a huge difference between being homeschooled your whole life as a kid and then now being the mom and the teacher and doing it for yourself. So that's where I'm at with that. If you guys want a more in-depth video of homeschooling and how we do it, I can absolutely do that. Let me know if there's interest for that. And I will see you guys very soon in another video. I really hope that you enjoyed this and gave you some things to think on, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, guys.
Sunrise in West Virginia, sleep talking on the front porch.